Marines facing withering fire. U.S. Marines and Afghan soldiers advanced through poppy fields of Marja under withering gunfire from Taliban fighters shooting from mud brick homes and compounds where families huddled in terror. President Hamid Karzai urged NATO to do more to protect civilians during combat operations to secure Marja, a southern Taliban stronghold and scene of the biggest Allied ground assault or offensive of the 8-year war. NATO forces have repeatedly said they want to prevent civilian casualties, but acknowledged that it is not always possible. On Saturday, the alliance said its troops killed another civilian in the Marja area, bringing the civilian death toll from the operation to at least 16. Addressing the opening session of the Afghan parliament in Kabul, Karzai held up a picture of an 8-year-old girl who lost 12 relatives in a NATO rocket attack during the second day of the Marja assault, which began February 13th. Karzai said NATO had made progress in reducing civilian casualties and thanked the top commander, General Stanley McChrystal, for standing with us honestly in this effort. But Karzai said more needed to be done to protect civilians caught up in the crossfire. We need to reach the point where there are no civilian casualties, Karzai said. Our effort and our criticism will continue until we reach that goal. The Marja operation is a major test of a new NATO strategy that stresses protecting civilians over killing or routing insurgents as quickly as possible. It's also the first major ground operation since President Barack Obama ordered 30,000 reinforcements to Afghanistan to curb the rise of the Taliban. Theoretically, once the town is secure, NATO plans to rush in a civilian Afghan administration, restore public services, and pour in aid to try to win the loyalty of the population and somehow prevent the Taliban from returning. So in other words, how long can NATO stay in this town, or this area, or in Afghanistan for that matter? As the assault entered its second week, Marines and Afghan soldiers faced hours of sporadic but intense gunfights from insurgents or insurgent snipers, often firing from compounds where families could be seen taking shelter. Troops crouched for cover in muddy ditches, firing rifles, machine guns, and grenades as Taliban bullets whizzed by. We've been hurling lead all day, said Lieutenant Carl Quist, who commands a platoon in the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment. U.S.-led troops have been pushing south from the town center against a pocket of Taliban fighters. A NATO statement said fighting was raging in the northeast and west of the town, but insurgent activity is not limited to these or those areas. A Marine spokesman said Taliban fighters seemed to be running low on supplies and ammunition, but at the same time, we do expect them to be putting up resistance for quite some time. And again, what are they really fighting for? How much longer will this war go on? What exactly is there to win? And when will they know that they have won? In a related development, Dutch government collapses over Afghan troops. The Dutch coalition government collapsed Saturday over differences on whether to extend the Netherlands' military mission in Afghanistan, leaving the future of its 1,600 soldiers fighting there uncertain. An early election is now expected. The Prime Minister announced that the second largest party in his three-party alliance is quitting. They are resigning. In a breakdown of trust in what had always been an uneasy partnership. Where there is no trust, it is difficult to work together. There is no road along which this cabinet can go any further, said the Prime Minister. The Dutch debate comes as opinion polls in many troop-providing European countries indicate growing public opposition to sending more soldiers to Afghanistan amid a global financial crisis and shrinking defense budgets. Any Dutch withdrawal would be a worrying sign for NATO, which has struggled to raise the 10,000 additional troops that its top commander in Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal, has demanded. The Prime Minister made no mention of elections as he spoke to reporters after a 16-hour cabinet meeting in The Hague that ended close to dawn. However, the resignation of the Labour Party, which has demanded the country stick to a scheduled withdrawal from southern Afghanistan, leaves his government with just 47 seats in the 150-member parliament, with no viable prospects for other coalitions. An early election is expected. By law, it must be held within 83 days, so the vote is likely on May the 11th. Disagreement over Afghanistan. Dutch soldiers have been deployed since 2006 in southern Afghanistan on a 2-year stint that was extended until next August. A plan was agreed to when our soldiers went to Afghanistan, said the Labour Party leader. Our partners in the government didn't want to stick to that plan or timetable, and on the basis of their refusal, we have decided to resign. The future of our mission, of our soldiers in Afghanistan, will now be in the hands of the new cabinet, said the Deputy Defense Minister. Opinion polls suggest the Afghan war is deeply unpopular in the Netherlands. Labour, which has been dropping in the polls, appeared determined to take a stand with next month's local elections in mind. So, the war in Afghanistan is starting to be shown for what it really is. The Dutch government has collapsed, for now at least. And again, there's something much more going on here. Something much bigger. Everything is connected, and everything that must change rapidly for the better. And these are more signs of the end times. Transition days. There is a transition going on. It is happening daily. And these are more signs.